Alrighty, hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome back to the channel. And it's that time of the year again where the dev servers are rolling out all of the fun new toys that are available in War Thunder, and I thought it'd be nice to take a quick break from my ever-growing pile of university study to have a look and see what we got, because I am, quite frankly, very burnt out at the moment, and any excuse not to look at complicated formulae is a welcome breath of fresh air to me. So I didn't cover the first dev server because I literally had two major assignments due like a couple of days after the dev server went live, and they were group assignments. I was busy doing programming and coding and all sorts of stuff. But with this one, there's a little bit of a lull. I've got some stuff due next week, but I was able to smash out a bunch of work yesterday, so I can afford a little bit of me time today. So I thought we'd just run through sort of each nation, just have a look at what we got. Hopefully I don't miss anything. If I do miss anything, please just let me know in the comments, because right now I'm just absolutely knackered. Although I will say, before we talk about the vehicles, it was nice to see Gaijin backpedaling on the very, very controversial decision to add expiry timers onto wages and backups. That was a horrible decision. It should not have been brought forward in the first place. If they want to do something about people not using like orders and wages and things like that that are sitting in their inventory, a system in which we could exchange them for other stuff would be very well received. Like, you know, if we can exchange these for a certain amount of silver lions or war bonds, or, you know, just something that is also of use to the player rather than it just be wasted, would be a much better way of going about it than just adding on a timer and basically introducing more forced scarcity into the game. I mean, we already have that with the boosters, which never used to have timers back in the day, and I'm very glad to see that that is not going to be happening to backups and wages. Now, a lot of people have already covered a lot of stuff on the other dev servers, so I thought I would just jump in and have a look at the new stuff that is on this newest dev server, starting with the MiG-21 BIS SAU. Now, the SAU index is basically an index for the automatic control system, which is a further modification development of the MiG-21. Basically, I'm pretty certain this has the same avionics that you get in the Russian MiG-23M. I'm pretty certain it shares the same things with that. So basically, it's essentially just a MiG-21 BIS with, well, it's a MiG-21 with better avionics, basically. Now, in terms of payload options, it has a pretty damn comprehensive loadout, as would be expected. So you've got R13Ms, R3Rs, and of course, R3Ss, R60s, and it has some ground ordnance as well. Honestly, my knowledge on Soviet aircraft is not the best, so I'm not really a massive expert on the differences between all the different MiG-21s, and that is definitely a black hole in my knowledge that I would like to fix eventually. But, you know, another top tier jet for Germany, I'm not going to complain. And we've of course got the MiG-21 Spsk Premium as well, which will be coming in at 10.0. So as of the new patch, Germany's getting a pretty decent top tier jet lineup, especially for Sim. You've got the F4F, MiG-21MF, and then you've got the MiG-21 BIS SAO, and you've also got the Premium MiG-21. So Germany has theoretically two Phantoms, 3 MiG-21s, and an F-104, if you're looking at things that are going above Mark 1 point something or other. And, you know, you've also got the MiG-19, but that doesn't really have anything other than its cannons, so, you know, you can stay there. We're more interested in these ones here. And, of course, we cannot ignore the absolutely adorable Weasel. This thing, I'm so happy that this has come into the game. I have seen one of these in person, and they are, it's an adorable little thing, and also vaguely terrifying with an automatic cannon on top of it. I'm also really happy to see the Ocelot, and I'll be interested to see how this fits in to the kind of top tier tank meta. You know, I mean, I'm excited for the Weasel for all the memes that thing will do, but this as a SBAA, considering its size, its lack of size, you know, this could probably get into some pretty cheesy spots on certain maps and cause a lot of problems. I actually think this could be quite an effective counter to helicopters, as it's obviously a much smaller target. So, you know, interesting to see what the O-slot does to the meta. And then we've of course got the Weasel with the toe on the top of it as well. That is going to be fun to play with. I'm very much looking forward to unlocking that for my German lineup and memeing around and throwing toe missiles at everything. Oh god, 1, 2, 3 of these little boys, and that's I'm really interested to see how this is going to play with the new crater mechanics as well, considering the traction of tanks in the game right now isn't particularly good, and it sort of feels like, you know, a toddler's sort of aggressively covered the tanks in fairy liquid dishwashing soap and all that stuff. In fact, let's go and test the crater mechanics with some small tanks real quick. Now, of course, you want to make a really big hole in this game, you of course are going to take out the PE8 with that thick Fab 5000 bomb with 5 tons of TNT equivalent. So let's make a hole and see how badly this affects things. All right, we're just going to go and put a big old crater in the field right next to A. That should be a safe spot that we can test out some mechanics. Oh boy. Oh no, okay, we can't reverse out. Okay, so it depends on what direction you're going. I guess it's probably also going to depend on the tank. But can we get out this way? Oh, okay, yeah, that isn't. Yes. No, that isn't good. when you can the Russians can now trap their own tanks. This is essentially the ASU-57 Gulag. I wonder if we take like a sliding approach, we can get out. Okay, yeah, that's a bit better. Alright, so like it's not a death trap, but it's also not perfect either. But hey, we can get out, which is the important thing. And another new addition to the dev server is the Jaguar Gr1. The principal addition for this one is the addition of the Paveway, which is a smart bomb. Of course, it's a laser guide and of course has fins to assist it as well. And you of course get target designation for other ordnance too. But the big thing with this is the I would definitely say is the Paveway. Now you also get the option to list some Mark 18s as well, and you of course have the regular Jag ordnance that you got on the previous one. Now for air-to-air, you do get AIM-9Gs. Can't remember if the previous Jag got those as well. Yes, it did. Okay, so the air-to-air stuff hasn't changed. It's more the fact that the Jaguar Gr1 gets a far more comprehensive anti-ground loadout. So this could be a pretty potent base bomber or CAS plane with the new update. So pretty keen to see that. I was going to showcase a bit more of the showcase the MiG-23 in general, but there isn't a cockpit in the dev server yet. However, the ordnance for this is pretty potent when it comes to taking out aircraft, especially now that we've got the R24Rs on here. So these are very spicy boys. And when you couple them with a quad pair of R60Ms, which are of course, you know, all aspect, that's gonna make this a very potent fighter for people that enjoy using the Soviet aircraft. So I'm really keen to get the cockpit and stuff added in for this and taking this out into some sim games and having some fun. It's basically the regular MiG-23 dialed up to 11, so very excited for this one. You know what else I'm also really excited for, and it's not the HMS Marlborough, unfortunately. Credit to her, she's a wonderful ship, but unless something drastic happens to Naval soon, I just can't get excited about the addition of even more battleships to the game mode, considering it's still compressed. You know, taking it from 6.0 to 6.7 for battleships is a good start, but the blue water stuff is just still way too compressed in my opinion. But you know, time will tell what happens with that. No, I'm really interested and excited to see how they're going to implement Israel into the game, seeing as they announced that as the new playable faction. They're saying that it's not going to have reserve tiers like the other nations, which makes me think that they're going to introduce it in, I guess, the same way that helicopters are done. Not that I've really done helicopters, but you know, once you reach a certain rank with another nation or with your allied or Axis nations, you unlock this. But seeing as Israel isn't going to have reserve tier stuff, I'm guessing you would need to get to maybe, like, you know, rank 5 for USA, America, maybe France, and then once you've reached rank 5 for, you know, their aviation or the army, you then unlock the respective branch on the Israeli tree. Now, I'm pretty certain they're adding the aviation tech tree first and then the ground stuff, kind of like what they did with Italy. I can't remember what order they did it with Sweden, or if they introduced Sweden stuff at the same time. I've hit my head a few times in the past year and my memory's starting to fail me. But yeah, really interested to see how they implement that, because if they're going to do that with Israel, then it opens the door for a couple of other tech tree options to be added into the game as well, particularly for nations that don't really have a lot of unique pre-Cold War stuff, or any pre-Cold War stuff at all, really, that's unique and not just going to be a giant copy and paste fest. This also makes me kind of hopeful that maybe we might see something like, maybe, I don't know, like a Commonwealth thing or something like that. You know, like there's the option to add a lot of things for stuff like, you know, Canada, Canada, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, that sort of stuff, like under one umbrella, because on their own they might not qualify enough to be, you know, a full nation maybe, but you know, if you put them all under one sort of thing like that, that has the potential to make for a really interesting lineup. I might do a video on that where I discuss, you know, all the potential aircraft especially that could lead, but also ground units, you know, and not just memes like Bob Semple, but actual very interesting and cool ground units. I mean, we've already got the South African sort of sub-tech tree in the UK, but I could easily see that getting migrated over into its own thing in the future. You know, time will tell. I might do some more dev server stuff in the very near future. Honestly, it depends on how much time I have. I'm guessing there's going to be a third dev server to sort of show off what new Israeli vehicles are coming into the game, unless they do like another dev server in a month or two, maybe like a separate sort of update from this one. We'll have to see. But I just wanted to take some time out of my study and kind of show everyone that, hey, I'm still alive. I am paying attention to what's happening in War Thunder. I just don't have much time to really enjoy the game at the moment, because, you know, real life stuff does happen to get in the way and, of course, take priority. But my studies and everything should be wrapping up in about a month. Early to mid-November is the sort of the time where everything sort of wraps up for the year, thank goodness. And then after that, we'll be back to my regular content every other day, which is what I was doing earlier on in the year. But yeah, that is the kind of groundbreaking dev server stuff. I didn't really want to cover much of the tank stuff because I do primarily just look at the aircraft. So yeah, let me know what you think of these new changes that are coming into the game. Some are good, some are questionable, and some are just downright intriguing. But anyway, thank you for listening to me waffling on as I take a quick break, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.